JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 24th of June 2021. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yes, check us out here on jfdbank.com, and yep, click on the research tab right there on the top, guys. So now then, jumping into the chart, so let's see what's happening here. Now, of course, the first one I want to touch on here is Nikkei, not the EURUSD. I'll keep that one for later. But Nikkei 225, to be honest, remained near its 21-day EMA, so the same analysis stays valid, because basically we need to see a good push here above this 21-day EMA in order to aim for this downside line. But if you're looking for something even higher, then wait for a push above the 29,519 zone right here. This way more buyers could join in here on a break of this area. But for the downside, well, I mean, a drop somewhere below this 28,565 territory might just do the trick and could invite more sellers. Now, previously I aimed for this level, but to be honest, initially I'm going to target only this one, the low of the current lowest point of this week near the 27,795-96 zone, roughly around here. And if we clear that, then yes, we clear this barrier here, the 28,565, then yes, we could aim for the lowest point, the current lowest point of this week. But at the moment, guys, we are oscillating around the 21-day EMA, so to be honest, not much excitement here yet. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index. So this one's an interesting one as well, because basically we are trying to climb higher. We're making it as you can see, the index is trying to push through this 29,000 mark. However, at the moment we are struggling with that, as you can see. So basically, I would say that yes, although everything's looking quite interesting here for the bulls, but we still need to see that clear jump above that 29,000 territory in order to go for some higher areas. So that's why for the moment, guys, we will stay cautiously bullish. We are still trading within this slightly rising channel. Don't forget that. So this one is from around mid-March that has been in play here. So this rising channel is still the one to watch. Also, as you can see, this is the idea that I mentioned before, where I said that we sometimes keep the downside lines and the upside lines still on the chart, even though they got broken, because basically sometimes they do act as a nice either support or resistance, depending on which one it is. But here, for example, you can see that after we broke the downside line, we traveled higher, tested the upper side of the rising channel here, and then kind of reversed it back down, but found support near this downside line. And from here we kind of rebounded and made it, and we're trying to make our way higher here again. But of course, still certain criteria has to be met before, yeah, we could aim a little bit more to the upside here. Now jumping into DAX, the German index, and yeah, yesterday had a bit of a down day here and declined, dropped a little bit more than 1% here, and yep, it fell below this 15,000. 505 territory. So if we take a look at the cash index right now, we'll see that the price is trading back above this area. So we're back above this 15,505 zone. Not much, not by much, but nevertheless still above it. So if, let's say, if by any chance it continues to trade above that territory, then maybe we could consider maybe a bit of a larger correction here to the upside. And yep, then we could be very, well, we'll have to be very careful still, because we have this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 15th of June. So yep, for now guys, long story short, basically, although we are seeing the cash index trading right now back above the 15,505 zone, yes, we will be very careful here, we'll be very cautious, and if we do climb above this downside line, then, well, I mean, basically this could open the door back to the current all-time high near the 15,802 zone, but if that gets broken, of course, yes, higher levels could be met. Now jumping into S&P 500, and this one is looking quite interesting as well. So yesterday we let me just very quickly check this. So the all-time high is currently at around 4,257. Yesterday we hit the almost by just a few kind of ticks here. We missed the all-time high and then reversed back down. So yeah, that's quite interesting, I would say. So at the moment we are still cautiously bullish here. But basically, guys, I mean, looking at the cash index right now, we'll see that the price is trading at around 4,250 territory. So basically above yesterday's close. So we're still in this little tight range here, a little tight area that I have it marked here between these two lines. So if we clear this 4,257 territory, then yes, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high and potentially could invite more buyers into the game. So for the downside, what I need here is, of course, a break of this upside line right here, taken from the low of the 4th of March of this year, and then, yes, we could consider lower levels, because at the same time, the price would be placed below the 21-day EMA. The dollar index, so still struggling with this 200-day EMA. So yesterday, we saw the index correcting a little bit higher here, but failed to move above the 200-day EMA. Now, what I said to you previously, that as long as it stays below this 200-day EMA, there is still a good chance for this index to drift to the downside, and we could see a move lower here. However, don't get me wrong, I mean, we won't really get very negative on at least for the near-term outlook, because basically it could drift lower and it could test this downside line again. If it provides good support, we could see a nice rebound and a push back up. So basically we've seen that happening, and I just show you one of the scenarios where it did happen. So basically something like this could be possible. However, that's only in the case if we continue to trade below the 200-day EMA. If we climb above the 200-day EMA here and push through this 92 territory straight away, then, well, I mean, I'll start looking at the upside again. Gold. Gold is also waiting for the XY to make a move here, and yeah, so as you can see, we're not really doing much here. I mean, we're just stuck here, and basically for now, I mean, I will say that yeah, for now we will be careful, we'll be cautious, and in a way, we can't really do much here, because again, it's not the situation where you feel comfortable with, because first of all, we after rebounding from this territory around the 1765 territory, the index, the commodity did push higher, but found some resistance around here near the 1798 zone, and then drifted back down. So we're kind of stuck in the middle between those two levels. So that's why probably, even if we push a little bit higher here, if we find resistance somewhere not only near this 1798 zone, but also also maybe near this 200-day EMA. If we find resistance here, then yes, maybe a slide back down could be possible. But if you're a little bit on the careful and cautious side, then probably what you can do here, and if you're looking for the downside, then probably just wait for a drop below the 1765 territory in order to go for lower levels. WTI Oil, also quick update. To be honest, not much is happening here. I mean, at the moment, WTI Oil is kind of trading here. It's stuck here, basically still above the 72.68, 70 zone. I talked about this level, so yeah, for now, I mean, I would say that as long as it stays above this upside line together with the this hurdle, then yes, higher levels could be met. But in order to consider the downside, guys, well, wait at least for a break of this upside line, because this short-term upside support line taken from the low of the 27th of May. Because basically, if it breaks this, and then we could aim for the 21-day EMA again. But if that gets clear, then yes, lower levels could be met. But basically, if we break this upside line, yes, we could aim lower. But we'll be very careful. We'll have a tight stop loss just in case this suddenly reverses back up here. Like, for example, it did here on the 17th and the 18th, where it also broke the upside line, but then kind of reversed and started climbing higher again. So we need to always keep that in mind, guys. Now, Bitcoin, very quickly on Bitcoin. So yeah, yesterday had a nice good push higher, but yeah, today weakness started kicking in again. So we're kind of trading below this downside resistance line here, taken from the high of the 15th of June. So yeah, so in a way, it's a little bit of a tricky moment right now for Bitcoin and in general for the cryptos. And if you remember, guys, a while ago, I mean, last month I said to you, when we were exploding to the upside, last month and the month before that, when we were exploding to the upside, I said that eventually this will have to reverse to the downside. And well, I mean, logical, this is what happened. So yeah, we reversed lower. We continue to drift to the downside, and probably instead of watching this daily chart, probably we can actually look at the monthly chart. And this is the picture we're getting here. So basically, I'm still targeting the downside here, and in a way, what I'm aiming here for is on the monthly chart. I'm aiming for this 21-day EMA. Currently, at this point in time, it sits somewhere around the 330, approximately around there. But yeah, at the moment, I would say, I mean, is this correct? Let me just double check this very quickly. It seems like it could be 25,000 actually, the more to be more precise. So yes, that's the roughly around here. So the 25,000 mark. This is where currently the 21-day EMA is sitting at. So 25,000 seems like a nice, beautiful number to reach. I mean, as we know, cryptos do like that sometimes. So basically, in other words, if we drop below last month's low near the psychological 30,000 territory, then yes, a further decline could be possible towards that 21-day EMA. Jumping into AUDCHF, and here I need to jump back into daily, and this is what I wanted to show you. So we're currently testing this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 18th of March. Of course, this looks quite tempting here for the bulls right now, but again, we need that confirmation break, of course, before, let's say, getting a little bit comfortable with the upside. So far, we're not really getting that break, and that's why for now we will be a little bit on the cautious side. So yep, for now I would say I will take a neutral stand here. Although yes, we are still trading below the downside line, so that means that the trend is still to the downside. So we could see a drift lower. However, for me to get comfortable with the downside now, this is where we need to, of course, the most comfortable level could be here at the current lowest point of June, near the 0.6892. But if it starts falling somewhere below the 21-day EMA, this is where I'll start looking at the downside again. For the upside, I need to see a push above the 0.6981. level right here in order to get comfortable with the upside. Oh, by the way, in terms of economic news today, guys, basically we haven't quite an eventful day. So before I jump further into the pairs, basically keep your eyes on today. Keep your eyes on the US GDP figures. US for Q1, of course. Then you keep an eye on the initial jobless claims. Those are the ones to watch. Go together with the continuing jobless claims. Yeah, the PCE prices also are coming out, so we'll see how that's going to play out. It is quite an eventful day, especially also in Europe, because we do have the excuse me, we do have the BOE coming out. Excuse me, guys. So we have the BOE interest rate decision. So we'll see if, so far, to be honest, I mean, no expectations are, there are no expectations for any hikes or drops in the Bank of England interest rate. So it will be interesting to see how many MPs are actually in how many members of the Monetary Policy Committee are actually in favor of raising the rate. So that's what's going to be interesting to see. Of course, we'll keep an eye on the pound. But jumping right now into USDJPY very quickly. So we've managed to reach the target. So that's great news. So we've reached this barrier, the 110.97. I talked a lot about this, and yeah, so that's a perfect hit. We got a hold up here. We had an overshoot, but we now got a hold up, and basically at the moment I would say we need to be a little bit on the careful side, and if it continues to provide resistance, this barrier, then yes, we could see some lower moves lower, basically a little bit of a corrective move here to the downside could be possible, maybe even back to this upside line. But if we suddenly break this barrier, the 110.97, and we climb above that 111 zone as well, then yes, potentially more buyers could join in, because this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and yep, we could see a move towards some higher levels, where my next target could be this 111.72 zone, marked by the highest point of March of 2020. So yep, keep an eye on that one. USDCAD, this one's interesting as well, because we have fallen back below this downside line. As you can see, this one's taken from the high of the 19th of March, so we're currently sitting below it. And this idea that I talked about previously didn't really work out. So this is the scenario where the downside line didn't act as a good support zone, and instead, yeah, we broke it and we drifted lower. So now the big question: can we see actually a move lower here? But to be honest, I would prefer to wait for a drop somewhere below this 1.2266 zone in order to aim for the downside. GBPCAD, still watching this one. I've mentioned this one yesterday, and basically you can see why we are at a very, very interesting spot here right now. So basically we need to play a bit of a waiting game here, but it could end up being quite interesting, especially if once it clears one of these lines, one of these trend lines, and then yes, we could consider the next. We could consider the next short-term directional move. GBPUSD, of course, a lot of eyes are going to be on this pair, and you can enter. That's understandable. Why? Because again, we have the BOE today, so be very careful. We might see a bit of volatility here, but so far everything is looking quite positive here for this pair, and in a way, we could see GBPUSD pushing higher and aiming for that psychological 140 zone, which continues to provide resistance. But if that gets cleared, then we have the 21-day EMA, which we would need to overcome in order to go for some further upside. But then we have the downside line as well, which is also an obstacle on the way higher. So basically, at the moment, we are it's looking quite positive, but we do have some of these obstacles on the way higher. Now, in terms of the downside, well, probably, not probably, but more of a break of this upside line here taken from the low of the 25th of September is needed, because at the same time we'll have a drop below the 100-day EMA here shown as the green line, and then yes, we could consider a bit of a move to the downside. EURNZD. So this one is, let's say, worked out partially. So we did clear this highlighted territory and we've traveled higher. It reached my target here, the 1.7128 zone, but as you can see, it didn't move further above it, and instead it drifted back down and fell back below the highlighted territory and back below the 200-day EMA. Now, what I can do here, first of all, is get rid of this highlighted territory and keep an eye on this little upside support line taken from the low of the 24th of February. Now, if we drop a little bit further south here, then yes, of course, this increases the chances for a possible test of the upside support line. And if we do find a good hold up here near this line, then maybe a nice rebound could be possible. But at the moment, I would say there is a bit of a bit more a greater chance, there we go, that's the word, a greater chance to see a bit of a larger correction here to the downside. We'll keep an eye on this area right here near the 1.6865 zone. We do have the 100-day EMA here as well, so yep, if we see a hold up somewhere around here, then maybe maybe a little jump here back up could be possible. And finally, EURUSD. So yeah, we're still struggling here with this 200-day EMA. So the idea is this idea is still valid only if we get a push above that 1.1943 territory and above that 200-day EMA. And then yes, we could consider maybe a bit of a larger correction here to the upside. However, if the 200-day EMA continues to provide resistance, another slide here could be possible. And as you can see, this barrier, this hurdle, this 1.1925, I've mentioned this level yesterday, and it continues to do its job, and now it's acting as a good area of support. If we drop below it again, then yes, we might drift a little bit here to the downside. So guys, that's it for this session. I really hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time, guys, your views, your likes. I really do. So thank you very much for that. I hope you'll have a fantastic trading day. Stay safe, have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. So thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock GMT time. Bye-bye.